All right. Shelley Reed? Alex Velto?
Here.
Francine Donchik?
Here.
Marilyn Kramer?
Here.
Kate Nelson?
Here.
Carl Nieberline? Here. Pat Phillips?
Here.
Harris Armstrong?
Here.
And Carrie Rohrmeyer.
I'm here.
All right, we have a quorum.
All right, we'll do salute to the flag. Commissioner Lieberman, would you like to,
Nieberline?
say it right? How did I miss
You
it?
missed it. That's okay. I'm well used to
the
this.
sunshine today.
Would you lead us in the salute to our flag?
Certainly, Madam Chairman. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we have approval of the agenda. Any questions on the agenda?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Donchik, I may make a motion to approve the agenda.
Madam Chair, I'll second that.
All right, we have a first and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We'll next open it up for public comment. Do we have any public comment?
We have none at this time.
All right, we will close public comment and do approval of the minutes. Any questions? Looking for a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the minutes of the July 27th, 2023 Regional Planning Commission meeting.
Okay, we have a motion. Anyone want a second?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Donchik, I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to business of the day. Director Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jeremy Smith for the record. The first item, item 6A, is a public hearing item. Project of Regional Significance Guidelines, adoption of RPC Resolution 23-02 with minor amendments to the current RPC guidelines for PRS that Nate Kusha will describe to us right now.
Good evening, Commissioners. Again, Nate Kusha for the record. As Director Smith mentioned, this is for adopting a new version of our PRS guidelines. That's Resolution 23.02, and this is really just the housekeeping or kind of cleanup amendments to the resolution that we'll go over.
Try now.
All right, so as many of you know, at this point, the project of regional significance is a concept that is created in state law, and the law provides some strict criteria for what does constitute a PRS, Project of Regional Significance, but also does vest power with the Regional Planning Commission to add additional guidelines to what is kind of mandated in state law. Our existing resolution that determines the PRS guidelines is Appendix 2 of our regional plan. And over the years, a variety of times, we've updated this resolution to kind of change things, add things, or just kind of do a little cleanup. Short history of how we're here tonight. So we created our PRS subcommittees of both the Regional Planning Governing Board as well as the Regional Planning Commission. They both met a variety of times, and we went through a variety of different issues. But specifically for tonight, we're looking at just clean up things. We'll go over specifics, but the proposed guidelines were presented at the March meeting of the RPC as well as the April meeting of the Governing Board, and we really had consensus from both bodies for these cleanup specific items. So just to kind of go over what we're proposing in the changes for adoption tonight is we're updating what we call the whereas section, which really is just the historical context of the resolution itself. We found some missing resolutions that weren't previously in there, so we added those in there to complete that history. We've corrected some outdated reference to statutes and other documents and agencies. So you can see there the permit process for Section 404 of the Clean Water Act is being specified a little bit more. The Washoe County District Board of Health, or as it was formerly known, is now changing their name to Northern Nevada Public Health. So we've kind of identified that to future-proof this document. That hasn't quite, I don't believe is quite official yet, but we've been in discussions with them and it will be. So we've just added that in here. We've also updated our reference, changing infectious to biohazardous. I think that also happens in the definitions of the resolution here. And that's really just to align with the Northern Nevada Public Health documentation as well. We did add this piece. So we have this item that talks about the loss or significant degradation of designated paleontological, as it was previously known, just paleontological sites. We've added the rest of these here, the historic, archaeological, cultural, or scenic, and that's really to align with what is in state statute, just copying that language. In doing so, though, we added the little piece at the end, which is that as regionally significant, as identified as regionally significant, it should say. We'll have to edit that. It has been designated as regionally significant. It's correct, by the local jurisdiction. So that's really giving the power of designating these sites in the local jurisdiction's hands, and they designate in their master plans, and then it would be subject to this guideline. So with that, if you have any questions, I'm available for that, and we have a motion over here.
Do any commissioners have questions for staff? Okay, this is a public hearing, so I will open it up for public comment. Do we have any public comment?
We have none at this time.
All right, I will close public comment and bring it back to the commission. Any discussion? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I have a question for staff. I just want to understand this resolution. I know there was a prior item at a prior meeting that dealt with projects of regional significance. Does this item have anything to do with zoning for schools, or what was that issue at the prior hearing that was removed?
Hi, this is Jeremy Smith for the record. That new proposed guideline has been removed from this version of the proposed PRS guidelines we brought tonight. And so the idea being that we kind of bifurcated it so we could get these cleanup edits done and get that adopted, hopefully. And then in September, we will bring back a version that addresses the new school guideline, and you'll have another chance to hear about that and vote on that at that time.
Great, thank you, Jeremy. I really appreciate that. I just wanted to have that clear for the record.
Yep.
thank you. Any other questions? Any further discussion? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Kramer, I move to adopt RPC Resolution 23-02, updating the guidelines for the definition of projects of regional significance.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Donchik, I second that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Do we need a 2/3 majority for this?
No, Madam Chair, this is a simple majority.
Okay. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to item B, RPC training segment. Director Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jeremy Smith for the record. So item 6B is going to be again from Nate Kusha. He's going to take us through a brief RPC training segment, kind of an introduction, especially appropriate for new members.
All right, good evening again, Commissioners. Nate Kusha for the record. Hopefully bringing up the PowerPoint first. Thank you. So we're just going to do a brief kind of introduction. We have a lot of new faces on our Planning Commission. So we want to remind you all about our Regional Planning Commission training requirement. So just to give you an idea of what this is, so NRS 278.0265 does say that the Regional Planning Governing Board shall prescribe an appropriate course of at least 12 hours of training in land use planning for the Regional Planning Commission, and it must include state statutes and regulations and local ordinances, resolutions, and regulations concerning land use planning, as well as the provisions of Chapter 241 of NRS. So we have put together, I'm going to bring up the site now, a website for all of your RPC training needs that will kind of just do a quick run through here. So some of you may have already done your 12 hours of training. Great if you have, and if you have but you have not logged them, we'll show you how to do that in the self-certification form as well. But for those of you who haven't, you can go to our website and you can go to our Regional Planning Commission page, as you're seeing here, which will bring this up, and then you have training opportunities for commissioners, and you pick that RPC training down there. We'll also make this a little bit easy for you. We're gonna email this link as well as the password for the self-certification form to all of you. I think we'll send that out tomorrow. So all of you just have that at your fingertips in your email. So this brings up our training opportunities page. So if you go down here, I'll get to that in a second, Damien, thank you. Hopefully you can see it better than I can, but under our required readings here, these are the things that we would like you to definitely look over and log for hours, going towards your 12 hours. That is things like NRS Chapter 241, which is about meetings of state and local agencies. Chapter 278, which is regional planning specific to the population size of our county. And then our Regional Planning Commission review process, as well as our regional plan. Hopefully, if you haven't looked at that, definitely go do that. Then we have some other optional materials. So hopefully that'll get you a chunk of the way towards your 12 hours. Anything else you need to get to, any time remaining, you can go through any of our optional trainings here. We have a variety of different sort of articles. I believe there's some videos up here. Additionally, if you guys know of any materials that would relate to regional planning or land use planning specifically that you think could go towards meeting this training requirement, you can go ahead and email that to us, let us know. We'll look it over. We can put it up on the website for the rest of the commissioners to utilize as well. One other quick note on that, we do have in October the Nevada chapter of the American Planning Association conference. If you do attend that or any sessions there, you can utilize that for training hours as well. So look for that in October. We will also be presenting, we'll have, I believe, Chris Tolley presenting on our public infrastructure plan, and Jeremy will be sitting on a panel with some others from Southern Nevada, I believe. So look forward to that. So once you start logging hours or meeting some of those hours, either you need to log them in our self-certification form. You can hit that button there. It'll bring you here, which you put in our password, which again will be emailed to all of you, and that will bring you to our self-certification form. So I believe we still have some old commissioners on here currently, but we will update this list to make sure all of you guys are in here, your name is in here. So all we want you to do is put a date, the description, it can just be the title of whatever document you use, how many hours went, and then looking to complete with 12 hours. So that is the Regional Planning Commission training requirements. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. You can ask them now, you can email or call us whenever. Yeah, that's all I got for you.
Thank you. Isn't this annual training?
It is not. You only have to do it one time as a Regional Planning Commissioner.
Darn it,
I thought, okay, I go, wait a minute, I thought I'd remembered I'd done this, so I don't need to do it again, okay.
Some of those NRS statutes.
Now, you may want to update because they've changed a bit, but yeah.
Okay, now I'm an overachiever. Any commissioners have questions for staff on this item?
Madam Chair, with your permission, Commissioner Phillips here. I want to thank you. Having gone through this, it is so helpful and so structured that it makes it easier.
Great, I'm glad they feel that way. In the past, our training has been a little haphazard. We try to kind of formalize and condense it also. Hopefully that's working well for everyone.
And we've actually done some training on site too during our meetings, so hopefully that might continue as well.
That was good.
And is there any action on this? No. Okay. All right, well, thank you very much. We'll move on to item 7, reports. Any member reports? All right, we're ready for director's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jeremy Smith for the record. I have a very brief report. We'll follow up with an email about the training site and pass that your way. Also going to follow up in that email with a link to the Washoe County Master Plan update process, the Vision 2040. That draft is now available for review out in the public. And so I'm sure that those folks at Washoe County would appreciate your comments on that. I want to go ahead and plug the One Region event, which is coming up on September 30th at Rancho San Rafael Park. We're going to have games, prizes, trivia. There's going to be info, which is going to be very exciting. Now we'll have some information about our public infrastructure plan, our natural resources plan, and the 2024 5-year regional plan update. So that's from, I think, 11 to 3 p.m. a Saturday on September 30th at Rancho. We'll be sending around an event sort of notice for that, so you can keep it in your calendars. And we'll do a notice of possible quorum so that everyone can come and there'll be no issues. I guess the last thing that I want to mention is that on Monday we opened up, we're hiring at TMRPA right now, which is really neat. We're hiring an admin assistant. So if you know folks out there that are looking for work and they have those administrative assistant type skills, you can shoot them over to our website, the careers page, and they can take a look for how to apply. And that'll be open until September 4th, I think is the day we're going to close that. With that, one more thing, and that is that our next meeting of the RPC will be in this room on September 28th at 6 p.m. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And do we have any legal counsel report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jessica Prenti for the record. Nothing to report tonight.
Okay. Moving on to item 8, any requests for future agenda items? Hearing none, we'll open it up for our last public comment. Do we have any public comment?
I see so much out there. We have none.
All right, we will close public comment. Any written correspondence?
No, we have not received any.
Great, we're done. Meeting adjourned.
Beloved.